How do you think, Zen, is it something bigger, like being the mediator between these circumstances which were going around?
We can look at how this conflict started. The conflict started, the war happened for 40 days. There was no hope for the world.
Yeah.
Exactly after 40 days, Pakistan's intervention happened. Pakistan started to present itself as the mediator. It started to do its own geopolitical working. And we saw how the whole world had a sign of relief.
Yeah.
And being the mediator, even if Pakistan was helped by Qatar, Saudi, China, but being at the front of this mediation, being accepted by both Iran and the US, and obviously rest of the world.
And somewhere I feel like from losing the war and then like losing the statement of which they were trying to impress their public became fake and everything was like fake there. But the thing,
I'm very interested in knowing, and you're currently working with the PCB, and you obviously meet international cricketers and international journalists as well while you're covering different events. I want to ask you, what has your feedback been from the international community? How are they perceiving Pakistan at the moment from your side?
And of course, when America imposed the sanctions, that was also something to worry about.
Yes, the US imposed those sanctions, the blockade, which obviously now has been reopened. I was talking to a US journalist the other day, and he was telling me how important this is for even the US internal politics. The midterms are coming in the US, and this current government needs to have the gas prices down. And if they cross $3.50, this current government can also lose the election. So it's actually very important for the US internal politics for this current mediation to be successful. So you see that it's in everyone's interest that Pakistan stopped this escalation. And again, I mean, Pakistan has done a huge favor, if it's the right word.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. This is Meetup Zishan. Hope you all are doing well. And you know that the reduction in the tensions between Iran and US are now finally done. And about that, I thought let's talk a little bit about this. And I think our podcast is very, very interesting. So I've called Zain Khan, who is a journalist who almost talk about the political and the international relations. So let's have a chat. Assalamu alaikum, Zain. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam. Nice to be with you.
Thank you so much. Zan, how proud are you feeling right now after, we have achieved something so bigger?
Immensely proud. Pakistan has literally saved the world. And the way that Pakistan's relationship with the US is growing closer and closer, we are at the front stage of geopolitics. The way Field Marshal Asim Munir, the way Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, the body language between them and JD Vance, it was amazing. I mean, if we just look at how Pakistan was 5 to 7 years back, right now we are on top of our game at the moment.
I still feel the same because, there were times when we talk about moving out from Pakistan, like moving to abroad, there were so many issues we have faced earlier. And right now, when we see like how Pakistan has just, even if I talk about the war situations we had, like back the last year, the situations there, Pakistan proved themselves. And right now, when we have achieved something so bigger, how do you think, Zen, is it something bigger, like being the mediator between these circumstances which were going around?
We can look at how this conflict started. The conflict started, the war happened for 40 days. There was no hope for the world. Exactly after 40 days, Pakistan's intervention happened. Pakistan started to present itself as the mediator. It started to do its own geopolitical working. And we saw how the whole world had a sign of relief. And being the mediator, even if Pakistan was helped by Qatar, Saudi, China, but being at the front of this mediation, being accepted by both Iran and the US, and obviously rest of the world, is phenomenal. It brings Pakistan to, I think, one of the most important countries in the world. I had, celebrities from Hollywood. We had UK politicians. We had people from the West thanking Pakistan. I was talking to a US journalist the other day, and he said that they're literally people in the media industry in the West which are thankful of Pakistan, that they have saved the world from World War III. They have saved the world from a from a energy crisis.
You are really, really right about it, because I've heard so many channels talking about this, and of course, there are the critiques. There are some countries who never like ever can bear that thing that Pakistan is going good. And after this, like such a big thing which Pakistan has hosted, and Pakistan has become the mediator, and the signing of the memorandum of the understanding, that was really hurtful for a few countries when we honestly talk about that. I've heard so many Indian channels talking about this. Like they were trying to spread the fake news. They were trying to make something into the minds like Pakistan is not doing anything. They're just pretending that. But when everything was with the clarity, the video came outside, the electronic signatures were outside. So that actually clarified everything towards all those countries who were trying to isolate Pakistan somewhere. And right now, this situation, do you think that the nation, like living is, there are people who are living in Pakistan and there are people who are living outside Pakistan. Do you think it's a moment of courage and a moment of happiness for all of us?
Definitely. And you spoke about fake news.
Yeah.
This is the first time as a student of political science and international relations, I realized that perception is not actually everything. There's a country, obviously India, our arch rival. It spread its perception through fake news. I mean, diplomat.
Of course, their work cannot be fulfilled without that. They have to earn money by using the name of Pakistan every time on their media.
According to the diplomat, the World Economic Forum has stated that India's biggest problem at the moment, World Economic Forum's risk assessment, risk report, has stated that India's biggest problem at the moment is disinformation and misinformation. And as you just stated about fake news, India created a perception, a jingoistic perception of itself being a regional power in the region, and it was shattered. And it was shattered after Pakistan's reply to the war that happened last year in May, and how it shattered the myth of Indian dominance in the region,
Of course.
and how Pakistan's military at the forefront broke the myth of that. And I think that obviously, as they're saying, being proud, we have to be thankful for Pakistan's leadership, Field Marshal Asim Munir, Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, how they are bringing Pakistan's name at the forefront of the geopolitical game. It's phenomenal.
And somewhere I feel like from losing the war, and then like losing the statement of which they were trying to impress their public, became fake, and everything was like faked there. But the thing,
I'm very interested in knowing, and you're
Yeah.
currently working with the PCB, and you obviously meet international cricketers and international
of course.
journalists as well while you're covering different events. I want to ask you, what has your feedback been from the international community? How are they perceiving Pakistan at the moment from your side?
See, if I really talk about the earlier situations which we have faced, like especially when we were in the war situation, I remember PSL was going on. And honestly speaking about it, the international players, because PSL was there and IPL was going around in India. And when we saw the players playing here, of course there were tensions, and the tensions were there as well. But we handled something very, very carefully. Like of course the security was really good. Everything was perfectly fine. PSL like was going on. Nothing was stopped. IPL was stopped somewhere. They stopped their match while playing. They just quickly switched off everything. But Pakistan has managed everything at that time. And players, like international players, they were really happy. They really appreciated that how things went here. Even if I talk about now how Iran and US war situations were affecting Pakistan, because we were having the petrol crisis, we were having so many issues, the lockdown situations and everything, and we were personally very, very sad about this. There was no crowd in the PSL. Even there was a notification that PSL should be postponed, but still we managed that, and we celebrated the moment, and we handled everything. And eventually in the finals and in the semifinals and the qualifiers, the public came and they really, really enjoyed. So I just want to say that if I talk about the international side, of course they talk about Pakistan, they like coming to Pakistan, they appreciate Pakistan in every phase. But when we talk about Pakistani people, what, we have a courage, we have something, a strong belief that we will face it. We are not terrified, we are not scared of anything. But when we talk about the other countries, they have that, the less courage and the they cannot see Pakistan happy many times. And this is why this is a big hit towards them, like Pakistan being the mediator, handling these things. Honestly, I was just reading about that. Prime Minister mentioned that how the field marshal was doing everything. He sacrificed his days, nights, he pushed themselves to just finish it all, and it was a very tough job along with other countries. But how it's like important to finish all this, because eventually,
I think Pakistan's government and obviously Pakistan's military, they both used their infrastructure,
of
their
course,
assets into this mediation. And this was not a one person or two person. This was the whole country working together, using their assets and their
yeah.
infrastructure, their diplomacy to make this happen. I mean, there were times while this mediation was happening where people like you and me could think that maybe it's not going to happen, maybe it's not going to be possible. But it
I think we were
happened.
sure, but
I'm talking about everybody in the world.
there is a
There came
perspective,
times.
like the media perspective, who were like thinking that maybe it's not going to happen. Even we have seen the tensions again. And the most important thing which we are missing to talk about, like a few days back, like I saw some of the Indian media, I don't want to mock anyone, but some of them were saying that, oh, Pakistan was faking everything, that's not going to happen, and nothing is going on because Islamabad MOU was there. So they were like talking about this. And then the situation came where the chairman PCB and the Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi was there, then the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif was there, and then the Field Marshal Sayyid Asim Munir was there, and they were at the front. They were leading that at the front. So that silenced actually everyone on that moment.
When you talk about courage of Pakistanis, I want to add that Pakistan's army, Pakistan's military, and especially the leadership of Sayyid Asim Munir has contributed a lot.
A lot.
When we look at the past 5 years, we see if anything has happened in India, they used to blame us, they used to threaten us. But after last year's May conflict between India and Pakistan,
that was a blessing in disguise, honestly.
They were spreading rumors that Pakistan's leadership is hiding, but then we see pictures of Sayyid Asim Munir, our field marshal, standing on top of a tank and giving a speech to the troops. These are the things that has made this country brave, and how we retaliated to the Indian aggression. And Pakistan's state has always retaliated in a defensive posture for peace in the region. And I think that seriously, after last year's conflict between Pakistan and India, I think even India now realizes that it has to respect Pakistan in any way possible. How are your thoughts about that?
No, see, honestly, I think this situation is not just to answer some other country. Actually, it's not that. People are considering in this way, that's something different. But honestly, when we talk about why Pakistan did that, was to save globally, like to have a global image of peace, because not Pakistan was getting affected by the whole Asia. Everyone was going through tensions, and this situation could be worse with by time, and that was needed to be stopped. And I am glad that Pakistan was the one who showed courage and who showed that that this should be stopped. And the
Are you
plans
trying
and
to
everything.
say that India was being very aggressive with different countries around its borders, and Pakistan tamed India? Are you trying to say in that sense?
No, actually, it's not about that. You know what? Actually, people are somewhere perceiving that Pakistan did that to answer some country. That's not our approach. We were doing it to save the world globally. To have a global image about this, and how peace can overcome any situation, any war situation. Peace is important. Sometimes you have to like throw your weapons and just to listen, to have a dialogue, to have a table talk. That things can be sorted out this way. So that was important, and I'm glad that Pakistan was the one who pushed for this. As I mentioned, that how Prime Minister talked about that, how the Field Marshal, his efforts and everything just made into it, because it was becoming worse, like globally. So what is your opinion about this? How this war was actually affecting the world?
Again, Pakistan assisted in stopping World War III. If this escalation would have continued, the whole world's gas prices would have surged. It would have been an energy crisis for the whole world, not just for Asia or any continent,
Everywhere, everywhere, like, yeah.
everywhere around the world, because Strait of Hormuz is basically the choke point of energy infrastructure
Of course.
around the globe.
And of course, when America imposed the sanctions, that was also something to worry about.
Yes, the US imposed those sanctions, the blockade, which obviously now has been reopened. I was talking to a US journalist the other day, and he was telling me how important this is for even the US internal politics. The midterms are coming in the US, and this current government needs to have the gas prices down. And if they cross $3.50, this current government can also lose the election. So
Yeah.
it's actually very important for the US internal politics for this current mediation to be successful. So you see that it's in everyone's interest that Pakistan stopped this escalation. And again, I mean, Pakistan has done a huge favor, if it's the right
Yeah,
word.
yeah, yeah. That's absolutely right. Because it was very, very important to stop. At least everything has to be stopped one day. And there is someone who just put himself into it and to end everything. And I would also appreciate Iran and US that they at least finally preferred the dialogue, except that that's a destruction thing. So, Zan, I think that's it. If we sit and talk about this, I think there will be no time left. And honestly, again, I will say that we are very, very proud as a nation. And as journalists, like, we are talking on facts. The facts are everywhere. Like, whenever you open the social media, everything is going on there. And everyone is appreciating Pakistan, except a few countries. And we just definitely don't care about those. So would you like to say any last comments?
Well, my last comment is thank you, Pakistan. Seriously, no other comments. I'm really happy that Pakistan made this happen. There were times that I thought that maybe this could not be possible, but Pakistan, surprised everybody, to be honest.
Indeed, indeed. And thank you so much, Zan. It was lovely having you. And with that, I hope that all of you, whoever is listening to us, will be very much proud and just have a heart to say this, just have a heart to speak this openly, because this is our country. And whenever Pakistan is mentioned anywhere, that's the moment of pride for all of us. And thank you so much to our military. Thank you so much to our political leaderships who have contributed themselves to finally end this situation. Thank you so much. We will catch you back in another episode. Till then, take care. Bye bye.